Welcome to the stream, boys. It's still a black t-shirt. It's the same one. Okay, first things first. I wanted to discuss something, okay? There's been a pretty big stream recently with Destiny, Nick Fuentes. There was also Zherka and what's his fucking name? That stupid little Sneeko. Right. They were on Fresh and Fit, okay? So if you don't know any of these people, okay? Zherka is like a cokehead, roided up ex-bouncer. He's just like their humor relief character. He's also racist. Then there's Sneeko. He's a young stupid kid that has no fucking clue what he's talking about and switches his positions every day. And positions, I mean like core beliefs, you know, about his whole personality. You know, teenager stuff. He's not a teenager though, but still. Then we have Nick Fuentes, a somewhat famous anti-Semite, Nazi, and a cat boy, I think. Destiny calls Sneeko smart. Well, I think what Destiny means he's curious. That's when you want to compliment somebody's intelligence, but don't want to call him fucking R-worded. That's what you do when a kid is trying to figure out something out, but has totally wrong conclusions, right? You call them curious. Oh, he's just curious, you know. And then Fresh and Fit, obviously, two dumbass motherfuckers who have no clue how women operate, and they constantly talk about that for some reason. Destiny, you know Destiny. If you don't know Destiny, Destiny is a political streamer who is probably the only person in this space who does research before debating somebody seriously. However, I wonder, Myron is absolutely dumb. I wonder, anyone watched that video? I would just like to ask people here if they watched it. It's on Rumble because it was too spicy for YouTube and other platforms. Okay, so most of it. Okay, I wonder what you thought. Who do you think like won the debate like optically? Who looked good during that debate? I just wonder what's your opinion. You saw a small optically I'd say Fuentes. That's I had the same impression. I think it was. Here's what I think. I unironically think that what was debate about the Jewish question, which is it's just anti-Semite. It's anti-Semitic, but it's not even the point of it being anti-Semitic. It's just stupid from all the sides. But that's not the point. The point is, I don't think people like Nick Fuentes should be invited to any platforms. Oh, they're fucking stupid. They agreed with him. This is just, you're creating a situation optically. It's purely optically. Optically means that what it looks like, right? Obviously. You're creating a situation where the arguments and the information that people like Nick Fuentes spews are taken at the same value as the attempts and counter arguments that the other side does. It is extremely wrong. Here's why. This is exactly, when I was watching that, I was like, this is exactly what is happening with like Russia supporters on the internet, or people who try to stay in the middle, or like they're fence sitting basically, right? Oh, I'm not for neither side. So what happens is, the very good example of that was hydroelectric power station that was blown up. There was also a good comment on that from that historian guy. Somebody linked me his lectures, and his tweet is like a older gentleman with silver hair. You know, what's his name? I want to say James Cameron, but no, Timothy Snyder, right? Timothy Snyder is a smart dude, knows history of Ukraine, watched his lectures, not all of them, but pretty well. I mean, was it Harvard lectures? Like, you gotta be a specialist in your field to, you know, give lectures at Harvard. He said this when the situation at Kakhovska hydroelectric station happened. He said this: you cannot take claims that Russia makes at face value. When Ukraine says that Ukraine didn't blow up the hydroelectric station, it cannot equal to the statement that Russia makes when they say they didn't do it. It's not equal, because Russia, you have to take into account all the previous stuff that Russia was saying and was not true. You can't have two people come up to you on the street and one person says, you know, I'm a scientist in nuclear physics and I'm gonna tell you that here's what would happen if the disaster would happen on Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. And some schizoid that would just blabble about that you have radiation in bananas, right? And you're already dead. You can't like, oh, that's interesting point. Let's listen to the other side. And he's like, the bananas, they're fucking, radiation is in the bananas and you're gonna put one in your ass and there's gonna be cock and balls. Interesting. What is your rebuttal, sir, nuclear physicist? Well, I can't really, I mean, it's all bullshit. Oh, I see. So that the whole thing looked to me like that. You have people who spread ludicrous claims. And here is their tactics. Here's what Nick Fuentes did very well in that debate, even with Destiny. Also, it didn't help that Destiny was completely alone and was piled on by other people. I know he's correct, but it didn't look good for Destiny. First of all, he was too agitated. I don't know why. And second of all, here's the tactic, right? So, if you're a conspiracy theorist, you wasted a sizable chunk of your life for a conspiracy. You kind of like grounded your axioms on how you're going to defend it, what this and that means, etc., etc. So you have like a story, right? And it's like a whole package deal, right? So like, for example, it's like somebody who knows a script very well. If he says one thing from the script and you try to attack him on this thing because you might know what he's talking about, he's just gonna switch to the next point and he's gonna jump from point to point to point to point to point until they will catch you on a thing that they know is true, and you will try to challenge them on, and they will put your face in the mud. So like, for example, Fuentes was talking about some like conspiracy theories that Jews control everything and some crazy shit, right? And Destiny was obviously like attacking him on his beliefs because it didn't make sense. But then he mentioned that he was specifically targeted. Oh, no, that guy doesn't just ask questions. He's like straight up says that all shit. Destiny, and then he said that there was a letter that a organization, Jewish organization, sent to companies like Twitter to ban like 5 specific people. And Destiny challenged him on that, which turned out to be true. So when he says something and Destiny challenges him on a point, he doesn't fight. He just says, yeah, what about this one? The other thing, right? And he will keep jumping from point to point until you try to challenge him on a thing that he knows for a fact is true, and he will put your face in the mud. And that's what happened a couple of times at that debate. One thing was with this article, or like with this letter, that it is indeed a real letter that they sent saying that these are people like fucking anti-Semitic and cringe, and we ask you to delete them from the platform. Any kind of organization can fucking do that. I had a lot of thoughts while I was watching the debate that you could equate that to the Ukrainian situation. So like, for example, if Ukrainian diaspora written a collective letter to a social media platform saying that you should ban a specific pro-Russian creator because he's spreading genocidal speech, and if he's getting banned, does that mean that Ukrainians control the media? You know, it doesn't really, obviously, but in the case of Jewish people, in the view of Nick Fuentes, it is true. So, and the letter was real, and Destiny got proven wrong, but because he challenged that, right? Hello. And then another thing was when they started talking about like, what is the interest of America supplying weapons to Israel? There's no even like, he said Nick Fuentes said there's no interest for them doing that. And Destiny said there's military bases. Of course there is. And Nick Fuentes said, no, there's not. And Destiny backed off because he didn't know for a fact. He then Googled it and it turned out to be true. There are military bases, but it didn't know at the moment, and he challenged, and it kind of like optics battle was lost. And it's horrible dipshit tactic. And a lot of people, that chat was cancerous. All of that shit was fucking filled with fucking degens and morons who donate some shit like Destiny equals blue hair equals soy. I don't understand. Like, they obviously don't know he did it for charity, but whatever, who cares? Completely disregard anything Destiny says. And because the groupthink was kind of like, Zerka and Sneeko kind of were like silent, but Zerka would just like joke around about some shit because he doesn't give a fuck. He just wants to be like spicy, controversial, and tries too hard to be funny. So the room was like on the side of a Nazi anti-Semite, and Destiny was fighting like an uphill battle. A chat was piling on as well, and just optically didn't look good. And it was like a lot of people watching. Almost like what, 80,000 people? I don't know. There's a lot of people watching. Yeah, here's the problem though. I don't think that Destiny can I don't think he can't argue against Nazis and anti-Semites. He did this a lot of times for very, very long times. But when you have a person who like built his whole image on like these conspiracy theories, and he doesn't like chimp out and shit like that, it's kind of difficult to win that optical battle. Like at the end of the day, Fuentes didn't prove anything because it's not real, right? But he looked better in that conversation, and it's a win in his book because most of the brainlets that watch Fresh and Fit will not care about fucking facts, even though they would constantly, some dude would donate and say, oh, Destiny doesn't want to talk about facts, he just talks about what he feels like. Like, it's just so stupid. Like, oh my god, it's just, the brain is just melting listening to that shit. But no, like, I unironically think that people who platform these fools are honestly making a disservice. Like, one thing, when Destiny was platforming those people on his stream, I think it's a little bit different because Destiny has kind of control over his audience, even though historically, with people like Hassan poaching a good sizable chunk of his audience, is fairly not true. But I feel like Destiny's audience is pretty non-radical to like switch to Nick Fuentes, because he did talk to him recently, like several times on his stream, and I don't believe Nick's stream grew much in popularity. Like, more people knew about him, but I don't think they were interested in his degenerate views. But those Fresh and Fit guys, they're fucking so stupid, and they're opening up this whole conspiracy shit to people who came in there to be misogynist and laugh at stupid women, say stupid opinions on their stream. Those people are very susceptible to shit like that, and it's a for Fuentes, it's a great platform to grow his influence, and I really don't feel comfortable with that. And Fresh and Fit are actually like evil people for inviting that guy on their platform just because, and I know why they do it, because that fucking stream has 700, 800,000 views. They are just chasing clout, and it's absolutely pathetic and despicable that you're willing to like do anything for the views. I don't want to try to like moral grandstand. I would do a lot of shit for like a lot of views, but I wouldn't feel comfortable like unironically like giving an audience to some absolute fucking despicable degens. And I don't even give like I'm super like, I don't give a fuck about all of those like talking points and shit like that, and what he's trying to would I suck off Joe Biden live on cam for 800,000 views? No. I have a video that has 400 something thousand views, and I barely even tried, so nah. For $800,000, probably, but you know, for views, nah. So it is greedy, and it's also stupid, and it's also super selfish, right? They don't give a fuck what will happen. Recently, just recently, there was a great conversation on how people who are already radical will receive a lot of support to their already radical views by people publicly talking and seeing overwhelming public support for the views. Was recently like a thing with what the Young Turks, I think it's called. They were talking about how cops are really bad, and some dude was a big fan, and he went out and shot 4 cops, and he like was unironically like quoting them. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, dude. Like, you can radicalize people on your platform, right? And I don't know what Nick Fuentes' stream looks like. I'm sure it's fucking crazy, but he's very careful on these platforms, right? He's trying to like, he's trying to look like he is reasonable, even though he's absolutely not. And he's not like radical. He's not saying that you should go out and do something, but I bet he does on his stream, because otherwise what the fuck is the point of his which side we're radicalizing ourselves here? What do you mean? We're not radicalizing anyone here. We're just hating on dumb fucks. We're not gonna do anything with them. They're already stupid. Already pity them for being fucking morons. But why not? Because being radical is just cringe. Who is radical? It's like fucking teenagers, right? Teenagers are fucking cringe. Isn't his fucking uncle the main host of that show, or like co-owns? I don't know. Yeah. So, nepotism poggers. No, seriously, like, I don't like people who are radical because they're just cringe. Unironically. Like, I don't vibe with a single radical position anyone has ever made. Because it's just like... You just look like a fucking soy cock, dude. Like, it's just so unappealing. And, when you're trying to present yourself as, like, fairly, like, adequate and moderate and stuff like that, I feel like it looks so much better. But, yeah, I saw his kid got born, yeah. Nice name. I think it's cool. What a journey, huh? Anyway. Yeah, I feel like people like that shouldn't be platformed. It's so stupid that those people are treated like, unironically, if you would just go down the street and some fucking methed out schizo bumfuck would like approach you and start telling you about fucking moon landing fake UFOs and shit like that. Oh man, I gotta switch the chat. I'm sorry, man. I gotta switch the chat. There's there's live chat and there's top chat, okay? So I need to turn off that Stream Elements bot as well. Fuck. Sorry you're getting fucked by like stupid shit. I don't know. I think like the power that these people receive for them to be taken seriously for the sake of clout is just horrible. It's just horrible. They just spread degenerate views that is just hurtful to society in the name of building a better one, which is just stupid. So fucking stupid. I think that's when he loses a lot of people, when he starts actually saying why he's saying all of this stuff. When he's like talking about he's being anti-Semitic, and then when he's starting to say why, I feel like he loses so many people who were like, but again, I don't know what's happening in the people's heads who like hate Jews. I don't get it. Like, I don't get it at all. It's just the weirdest fucking thing to me. I know where it came from, kinda, right? You have to single out a group of people who you can persecute and say that all the problems are because of them. I know how that works, but that's literally how like racism and any of that shit works. But it's just so weird. Like, anyway, Fresh and Fit, actually evil people for platforming that degen Nazi. I don't know. I don't know what Destiny should do. Maybe not engage those people. I know Destiny's kind of selfish in that regard as well, because he is just trying to have fun with it. But he's like, I don't give a fuck. He has I don't give a fuck mentality, and he's ready to like fight with a lot of people. He just likes it. But just optically, that debate didn't look good, especially with other people piling on him. Yeah, I just don't think it was a good decision. Are those the guys that bring in women every time to debate? Yeah, they now try to do these debates because they get them views, right? They had a show with Andrew Tate, and it had way less views. I mean, maybe it's because they had to do the debate only on Rumble, so I saw the Rumble numbers. But on Rumble, the Andrew Tate video had like 6 times less views than the one with Destiny and Fuentes. Anyway, conspiracy theories are just fucking cringe. Seeing like, especially, I never really believed in any of those. I always felt like it was just such a pointless exercise. But with this war, seeing how I'm not getting an inside look, obviously, but getting closer to like government operations, how government operates, what decisions do they make, how reconnaissance works, what kind of systems they use, and stuff like that. There's no grand conspiracies. They're just impossible. They're just impossible to exist. Even super secret leaked fucking documentation, even super secret documentation can leak to a fucking Discord. I don't believe for a second. And it's like, when it's it's different, because when people spread conspiracy shit, nobody is fucking packing them in a fucking 50 cal turret car, right? Like that guy was, right? Nobody is analyzing your photographs and identifies your fucking house by the tile pattern on your fucking table. Like, if people really wanna find you and shut you the fuck up, they will shut the fuck, and they will shut you up. But also, like, such narcissism is coming off from Fuentes, thinking that he's like the whole world is against him, bro. It's so fucking hilarious. And I think it's part of every conspiracy theorist thinking that they're way more important than anyone else, because they're the one that figured out the fucking conspiracy. They're the ones that were smarter and know the truth. Maybe they're the ones that are being spied on, actually, like, they're fucking like crazy, like, to some extent, right? Yeah, I just think all of that is a waste of fucking time. It's absolute cringe, and people who platform degeneracy like that to try and get clout are pathetic. Yeah, I just really wanted to say that, because that's kind of felt this whole that whole debate. What a horrible thing, dude. Anyway, how you all doing, guys? What you did today? You're sweating? Why are you sweating? Better than you after last MRE? I didn't eat most of it. I feel fine. I just threw it away. What do you mean it's hot as fuck? Install AC, my guy. What is wrong with you? Is my sink okay? I didn't throw it in the sink. I threw it in the garbage bucket. I better eat that rice and sausage. At some point, I'm not throwing that one out. But I think it's gonna be horrible. They won't allow to install the AC unit on the elevation? What the fuck does that even mean? Historical building and shit? Bro, you got fucking cucked, dude. What the hell? Can't you install like a window AC? Still better than nothing. So what are the solution? Information hygiene lessons at school or universal access to higher education? No, I feel like just don't platform those people. Just don't invite them to any don't invite them to any shows. Just pretend they don't exist. Ban them from every single social media platform. They can pick up a fucking paper and they can go out in the public and spew some shit. But you all know those people are fucking insane and nobody pays attention to them. But I think that should be their only option. Or to create their own website, but it's like only a couple of people are gonna do it, and they're gonna lose on a lot of viewers because it's not convenient to go to a different platform. But yeah, I don't think anyone should chase clout. Deplatforming does work, yeah. Watching Twitch for 12 hours? Damn, that's awesome. Yeah, that's my solution, to deplatform them. I don't believe in that, like... The problem, like... We can get on the discussion of, like, free speech and why I don't believe in that either. But even if we don't touch, like, legislation... I think simply banning from people from the platform does work, and because when you're allowing them to stay on, you almost treat them like normal humans, and you shouldn't. Again, First Amendment just protects you from being persecuted by the government. Any company can, by the law, prevent you from using their services for any fucking reason, actually, so... Or unless it's like some racist or some shit. There's like protected class, some shit like that. But they can always say that you like broke the terms of service and you're gone. That's it. Well, Musk, that was funny. They did talk about that too. Where Musk unbanned him, but then he was banned again 24 hours later. So. Yeah, exactly. Like, look at the Russian media propaganda piece of shit. It's getting out of the people's faces. I remember in the beginning of the war, people would link RT clips. We would laugh at them, of course, but because we're not fucking stupid here. But yeah, now we don't see them that much, right? But yeah, I think the only thing that will work well is deplatforming. It's like when crazy people talk about like pigeons that carry like plague or some shit. Like nobody will listen to them. Nobody will care, right? And I think we should treat those people exactly the same. We should treat Fuentes exactly the same, like a crazy person spewing some shit. Yeah, a good example, Carlson. Lost a lot of followers because he was kicked out of the channel. True. Like, you actually need to crack down on it. Like, I think you have a lot of control in America as a society, and like, cancel culture is part of it, which, there are some cases where it like goes too far because it's society. That's why society cannot like, that's why governments exist, where you have like strict laws that you have to abide, otherwise you get punished. Because if society would do that, it would be like lynching, and it would be like civil wars and shit like that. It wouldn't be good, right? So you need one system that is clear and not arbitrary, that always has like, you know, an outlook like that. So that's why I think that you know what I just thought about it. I think that cancel culture is unironically the society's answer to the First Amendment. I feel like true free speech cannot exist in a government, because when it does, it's going to be people who will start policing this speech, and they will try to fuck with you in different ways if you're saying something that is hurt, like actually bad. So I don't think it's like a normal state. Like, if I don't want to like appeal to history, but historically, if you said some shit to the wrong guy, you would get fucking shanked to death, right? Or there would be like council and they would hang you or some shit, right? But then governments came about and they're like, okay, you have to be tolerant. Obviously, people are not, but it's like you have to be tolerant and everyone has the right to say what they think. But it's good in theory, it's a good thing, but you forget that people are fucking morons, and you can't have that precisely because of people like Fuentes. How would you punish crimes against the free speech? What do you mean? How would I get rid of free speech? What are you asking me? I'm asking how the fuck do you mean free speech shouldn't be a thing?
Crème pour le spinard.
Because of people like Fuentes. Or like people like Tucker Carlson. Those people should be in prison unironically. I think people like what's his name? The globalist agenda. What's his fucking name? I forgot. Alex Jones, right? Like you actually have to put them in prison, or like I don't know, remove access. Yeah, I think prison is the best thing. I think just put them in prison and that's it. And be done with it. That's how I would punish it. If you're asking me like what speech should be punished, I think it's pretty clear. I don't think you need to like come up with anything new. We already know what kind of speech is like bad. When you're like promoting when you're basically promoting violence, pretty much. When you're saying like a group of people is bad because of some crazy shit, you know, or it's a slippery slope. Yeah, people always say that. It's always an argument with every fucking thing. It's like, they will be taking our guns. It's a slippery slope. They're gonna be taking our fucking children or some shit. It's always an argument like that. I actually don't believe in slippery slope. I actually don't believe that. If you have a democratic country and the government is out of line, people, normal countries, people will protest and people will be upset. People in the next election cycle, they will vote differently, okay? Free speech is not a violent murder weapon. I disagree with that. No, like, unironically, I've heard this being stated by our defense minister, and I think I kind of like that. Like, I'm not in favor of weapons. I don't like weapons. I feel like a lot of bad stuff is happening because people may have access to weapons. I feel like it's kind of similar to like the free speech argument. It's like people are fucking morons and you can't give them like an ability to just buy whatever the fuck they want, because shit can happen. You know, somebody can go fucking nuts and shoot up a fucking gathering of people or some school or some shit. But at the same time, our defense minister said that when citizens have weaponry, they have protection. Not only they have some additional protection from foreign invasions and from their own government. I kind of understand that point because, like, imagine America being like going slippery slope, you know, and controlling all this speech. I don't know if that, like, with an armed population, I wonder how that would turn out. I don't think so. Because I think that what's happening, because America is like the biggest example of this, right? Even in UK, you can get like fined or even arrested for saying some crazy shit online, but not in America. But in America, you can get canceled, which is like a response from the society, not from the government, right? But I think that response from the society is like not better than the government's response would be. So I think that the government should have a response there, not the society, because society is fucking crazy. They will cancel you if you gonna disagree with the black man in a park that wanted to snatch your dog, and then that guy is gonna get his own National Geographic show, and you're gonna get fucking fired from your job. Like, that's kind of I mean, again, it's like edge cases and shit, but still. Snake doctors, homeopathy, fortune tellers, Nazi sympathizers, all of that shit. I feel like, well, I feel like if you're a fortune teller, you can just, like, government can just remove your business license, right? Nobody goes to prison, but... In that case, we should also start criminalize being stupid. I don't know why you're saying that. I'm not fucking stupid, bro. There's obviously clear things where you can draw the line. You don't have to. This is also like kind of my criticism that I'm trying to like form against Destiny, because he's not infallible, right? I like the guy and I agree with most of his, by far most of his arguments, but I don't like his obsession with things being like what's the word? Like applying in all situations, you know? There's the reason fucking courts exist, okay? Because people take into account everything that's happening, all the proofs, all the fucking everything, right? Not generalizing, no. He mentioned something in his debate against like abortion or something, or in favor of whatever. He says that, oh, consistency, that there has to be consistency. And in you as a character, I think there has to be some consistency. Otherwise, if you're in like very inconsistent person, like people will like disregard you as being like unreliable. But you don't have to have perfect consistency in all the facets of society, right? If you have some laws on speech, there's already some laws in America where you're not allowed to incite violence. The First Amendment doesn't work on that. I don't agree with burning the Quran, but I don't believe it should be illegal. Well, I agree with that, but I don't believe it should be illegal either. But no, but seriously, I think it's suicide is a crime. Come on, it's not one. I think there should be limits. They don't have to be absolute, but there should be limits where if you're of the size and influence and crazy factor as Alex Jones, Nick Fuentes is not that huge, but still, Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, there should be some measures, there should be some things that the government can enact against you, because it's like they're overcoming this barrier, right? I don't think Tucker Carlson or Joe Rogan or Alex Jones or Nick Fuentes, I don't think it's the same when they say some crazy shit as just some random dude saying some crazy shit. I don't think it's the same. They're purposeful, they're ideologically driven, they're pretty successful in what they do. They gather an audience and they spread their degenerate worldview, and I think the government should have something in place where they could prosecute these people. So the law should look into circumstances surrounding your statements, online presence, valid news, or you paid or high. Yeah, that's how courts work. No, do they not? It's like there's a case, and the case is presented, and here's all the evidence. Here's the magnitude of a crime, and boom, fucking let's go. You know? Again, Jim, what you're saying is like slippery slope, but I don't necessarily think that it has to always be that way, you know? Listen, floating disk, I thought so too several years ago. I thought so too. Oh, the truthful information will prevail or whatever. Dry facts are not as interesting as a made-up story, okay? It doesn't work. Well, it works sometimes, but not in the most cases. Look at the people who are popular in the politics sphere. Most of them are fucking absolute degens. A politician should definitely be held to a criminal account for spreading misinformation. Or like, fine, okay, you don't go to prisons, fine them exorbitant amounts, just like what happened with Alex Jones. Fine them, make it very financially difficult for them to appear in the future. Take away their tools for spreading their opinion online. You don't have to put them in prison. You can definitely have a court saying that they cannot appear, right? Because it's possible, right? Restraining order from appearing online publicly on public speaking shows or some shit. I bet it could be done. Nobody's taking you to prison. Like, we can find a middle ground there. I just don't want their horrible influence to be spreading. And while companies kind of do that, it's like not all companies, you know. Like, apparently the worst thing that can happen to you is a payment processor like Visa or MasterCard banning your shit. That is like, you're fucked forever, bruh. But they still find ways. They accept donations and some shit to some different accounts, right? Barring them from public speeches and internet, because I don't worry about people who just have an opinion. I worry about people who are spreading that opinion online. When it's like completely, it's fucking stupid as fuck. But seeing how people react to it, it just makes me lose all faith in humanity, my guy. Yeah, look at the Brexit thing, right? What if like success in Brexit kinda gave confidence? Success in Brexit, Trump. What if it gave confidence to Putin kind of start this whole thing, right? Like, again, what about freedom of speech? That's what I'm saying, right? I think this could be like a perfect opportunity for governments to have like a success of Brexit for Russia, I mean. Don't I think the NATO meeting was disappointing? Not really. The EU has already certain laws, what you're talking about. Yeah. Like, I think EU is doing it. And I think they can go maybe a little bit further. Like, again, what would be, like, okay, I understand Banana's standpoint, and maybe I'm, like, being just upset and emotional right now, and putting people to prison for that maybe is not good. But what about, like, not allowing them to appear in, like, online public shows and shit like that? It's not that difficult to avoid. It's not like it's, streamers manage to avoid playing copyrighted music on their streams, even when they're fucking live streaming on the street, So, and that's way more infinitely harder than just not appearing at internet, or like public conventions and having an audience to talk to. Right? Like, would that be too difficult? You can have a court order, right? And they can... Yeah, they're not going to be monitored all the time, but if somebody will see him, he will be like, I don't know, fined or maybe put in prison for like, I don't know, fucking a week or some shit. So make it very inconvenient for them to not abide by it. Героям слава. You know? Would you be in favor of that, Banana? Like just a prohibition? Fine to the proportion of their income and net worth. Yeah, but then people start fucking around with like trying to find ways. Oh, I don't earn anything. They're donations to my wife or some shit, and it just complicates the flow of this thing. I think it could be like fairly simple. It's like, oh, we saw you on this fucking public fucking thing, and there you go. You have a court order where you're not supposed to appear in public events, stream online, etc. Like there could be some things that, like some companies already kind of do it, right? Like you're not allowed to show some of those people on YouTube because they're banned from there, and your video might be delisted or whatever, right? Like companies have the technological means to do that. I mean, also interestingly enough, with facial recognition technology, couldn't court issue a document and you could just get yourself removed from the internet? Companies don't have to uphold free speech. Yeah, I know that. But that wouldn't be impossible, right? Especially like YouTube. YouTube could nuke every video that has a fucking frame of Nick Fuentes or Alex Jones. That's kind of what they did, right? So what if you had like court order to just like, at least from these big platforms, I don't know. Racist VTubers, true. Oh my god. See, that's what I'm talking about. People would try to like circumvent that shit. But you know, there's always, thankfully these people always have a lot of anti-fans and a lot of people who hate them to their guts, so they will probably report their shit to the correct place saying that, hey, this guy appeared here, I know there's a court thing, you know, and boom, his life is infinitely more harder to circumvent that shit. Yeah, I just think that something has to be done, you know? Companies doing it is just not enough. That's what I think. I don't know. Fucking triggered me, that shit. Thank God they didn't start talking about Ukraine. Somebody mentioned Ukraine and I fucking was like, what the f, and then they dropped off that topic real quick, so I was like, okay, I was about to get a fucking plane ticket. I was about to enlist in the army, receive my full military equipment, and ask for special operations in the United States of America. What is this? Is this Biden misspeaking and Zelensky kind of laughing at it? What is this? What is this?
Vladimir and I shouldn't be so familiar. Mr. Zelensky and I talked about the kind of guarantees we can make in the meantime.
Oh, that's a great clip.
Vladimir and I shouldn't be so familiar. Mr. Zelensky and I talked about the kind of guarantees we can make in the meantime.
Oh man, this fucking smirk, dude. Do 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 dun 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 dun. That's a great clip. Oh man. Anyway, let's back off that fucking crazy topic because I just kind of, I don't know. I got heated, you know, watching that stuff. Regarding the NATO press conference in Vilnius, I think that it was alright. I don't think it was bad or anything like that. I think we got what we wanted. I think we got it. In the beginning, it was kind of not clear if we're gonna get it, but I think we did. So let's start from the news. Bro, there's not even like truth in his statements. It's just like conjecture. I don't want to get hung up on that. It's like it's just not real. It's like not a real thing, you know. It's like it's like people who describe. He also mentioned that, and I was like, oh my god, what a fucking moron. It's like people who think that Russia attacked Ukraine because of US. Like, it's just so fucking stupid. Or like in Nick Fuentes' fucking mind, it's because of the Jewish people. Like, what a fucking pathetic explanation. Motherfucker lives in a world where every bad thing happens because of Jewish people. It's just fucking pathetic. It's like, and he's also religious, but it's just like the same. It's like the same as religion, right? It's like everything good because God, everything bad is because Satan, Satana, and it's the same fucking thing with him. It's like every good thing is because of white people, every bad thing is because Jewish people. That's bro. There's a fucking wire in my braces that all of a sudden started really like scratching my mouth from the inside. I don't know why. I think it started like, I think it like kind of scratched a little bit, and now it's swelling up. Cotton, yeah. Food stock, no. Just that was a little bit too loud. Anyway, okay, let's start by the timetable, and then we'll get to the. I also fucking removed half of my fucking fingernail today. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. With a fucking knife, just, like sliced it off. Ouch. The Armed Forces of Ukraine controls all the heights around Bakhmut and is advancing in the south. The situation at the front line. The Institute to Study War says the Ukrainian forces established control over the new positions near Klishchiivka, 7 kilometers from Bakhmut. The armed forces also advanced 1.5 kilometers in the Rozdolivka area, 19 kilometers from Bakhmut. General Staff says that our fighters repulsed the Russian Federation near Blagodatny. 3 enemy control points and a remote control station were destroyed. That's the points of action circled around. Oh, I did slice the tip of my pinky or something like that. It did heal up, but it's like scar tissue. Yeah, I mean, are there Nazis that are not like white pride people? It's kind of like goes hand in hand. This is fighting in Bakhmut, video from Bakhmut.
Бас, бачиш щось?
Boss, do you see anything?
Стріляй все равно, блядь. Маленькими чергами пропрацьовуй.
It says work with small shots. Single shots. Is this what the fuck? This is FPS Ukraine, and today we're exploding a spot with Russian occupiers.
Вот это красиво!
It's beautiful.
Ты, блядь! Ты что, пидор? Welcome to Ukraine!
This is just new ammo we received. It's nuclear ammo, nuclear bullets. Oh man. So this is a video from Volodymyr. I don't know if you're familiar like that. Arriving at the summit. As you can see, his personal guard here. Super based guy. Protecting Zelensky. What could be a more important job? A dude who, bro, look at how fucking fit he is. Holy fucking shit. A dude who is willing to take a bullet for Zelensky is a great fucking guy in my book. All right. So these were the main priorities that Zelensky would discuss with the partners, and they did. So spoilers, right? But the first one is the new packages of support for the army. The second is the invitation to NATO, and the third one is the guarantees for security for Ukraine during that NATO accession process. This is Zelensky meeting Scholz. Some agreements, some documents. Ukraine does not yet know what conditions are put forward for it to join NATO, said the country's foreign minister Kuleba. I think we know by now, but I thought it was an interesting statement. Some of the news are kind of outdated. Canada will transfer armored vehicles to Ukraine. Powerful agreements. We're preparing for an important security victory for Ukraine, says Zelensky. No, I haven't heard that. I don't think there's any dates on anything. What Zelensky said, and I will show you this post. So let's just wait a second, okay? So the comments of Volodymyr Zelensky after meeting the leaders of Germany and Canada. The meeting with Mr. Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, a very good beginning of the day on the summit. We discussed security guarantees for Ukraine on their way to NATO. We have an understanding from Canada. We will have understanding of the world. We're preparing a very important security victory for Ukraine. Thank you, Justin and Canada, for increasing your support for our warriors with armored equipment. We have very concrete agreements. That's pretty based. We continued our discussion about the guarantees of security for Ukraine on their way to NATO with Scholz. Thank you for your support. There is agreement about additional Patriots and missiles to them from Germany. It's very important to protect the life in Ukraine from Russian terror. I'm thankful for the readiness of Germany to provide long-lasting, many-year support to Ukraine in our protection of freedom. Long-term programs of support is the best. Is the best signal to everyone in the world that Europe is going to stay safe and secure. The first F-16 fighters should fly in Ukrainian skies by the end of March 2024, says Kuleba. We're doing everything to speed up this process as much as possible. I don't know why it kind of combined those two words. Potentially could be faster than this, so we'll see. I still believe it could be faster. A new powerful defense package from Australia, including 30 Bushmasters, says Zelensky. Ukraine and Sweden signed an agreement on the exchange of mutual protection of secret information. I like these cars. They kind of look cool. They look like fucking tanks. Zelensky met Stoltenberg. Now Ukraine is closer to NATO more than ever. The allies have agreed that Ukraine will become a member of NATO. Stoltenberg at a press conference with Zelensky. The invitation will be issued when all members agree that all conditions for admissions have been met, added Stoltenberg. There are major agreements regarding defense packages from allies, said Zelensky. The results of the summit are good, but it would be better if there was an invitation to NATO, says Zelensky. Security guarantees from Western countries should not replace Ukraine membership in NATO. Ukraine understands that it cannot be a member of NATO while the war continues, but the clear signals that this will happen sounded confident today. I understand that this will happen when it is safe on our land. NATO needs us no less than NATO needs Ukraine. So pretty much like there hasn't been a clear, okay, this is an invitation document, right? But there's been pretty clear signals, and I assume that clear signals probably I don't know, there's still signals though, right? But I don't know. I don't have a single doubt in my mind that that we will be in NATO after the war. And I don't think anyone expected us to be in NATO before the end of it, so. This is Leopard. Okay, let's look at the speeches. I will kind of make them 1.5, so maybe 125, so we can go through them faster. Kind of half an hour speeches. Could be boring, so if it's boring, I'll kind of skip it. Oh.
Hello. Take some questions. General and the President will make their introductory statements, and then they'll have time to take some questions.
There's like debates or some shit.
Secretary General.
President.
So why do you think Ukraine should join NATO? Well, I think. Why do you think they should?
Zelensky there, Vladimir, welcome to NATO. It's great to see you again. Always a pleasure to meet with you. And it's truly an honor to have you here at the NATO summit. When President Putin invaded Ukraine last year, he underestimated the bravery of the Ukrainian people, the courage of the Ukrainian forces, and the determination of the Ukrainian political
I like how
leadership.
when he talks, he's like,
But he also underestimated the unity and strength of the NATO alliance.
a little jump.
NATO will continue to stand with you for as long as it takes. NATO allies have provided tens of billions of dollars in support over the past year. And now we have agreed a three-part package bringing Ukraine closer to NATO. A multi-year program of practical assistance, establishing a new NATO-Ukraine Council, and reaffirming that Ukraine will become a member of NATO, and removing the requirement for the membership action plan.
That's pretty strong. That's pretty strong signal, in my opinion. If there's like an agreement that's been made.
Our new multi-year program of assistance for Ukraine will help you transition from Soviet era to NATO equipment and standards, and will make Ukraine's forces fully interoperable.
Like, no shot that a fucking military alliance is going to invest so much money, equipment, and apparently more modern equipment has been agreed upon to a country that they are not planning to like include into an alliance? Like, come on, he's Norwegian.
With NATO. The inaugural meeting of the NATO-Ukraine Council will start in a few minutes. This is a forum where Ukraine and NATO allies will meet as equals, hold crisis consultations, and jointly take decisions. Ukraine is now closer to NATO than ever before. Allies reaffirmed that Ukraine will become a member of the alliance and agreed to remove the requirement for a membership action plan.
Didn't I just
This
heard
will
it?
change Ukraine's membership path from a two-step process to a one-step process. And we will issue an invitation for Ukraine to join NATO when allies agree that conditions are met.
Didn't we just hear it?
This is a
Did I click
strong,
something?
united message from allies on your path to NATO membership. We must ensure that when this war ends, there are credible arrangements in place for Ukraine's security, so that history does not repeat itself.
True and based. What is this? 2 factories in the US and 6 factories in the European Union plan to supply Ukraine with up to 3,155,000 artillery shells by 2024. Wow. That's like in 5 months. Right. That's actually a lot, I think. Did they need 1 million for a year? No, that's what Europe said. They will provide jointly 1 million shells to Ukraine throughout the year, but there's like a bunch of, it's not much, okay? It's not a lot, actually. Russia would use like what, 60,000 shells a day at some points in the war. So like, calculate it. You need a lot of shells. The United States, plus just 6 of the many European artillery ammo makers will ramp up to over 2.5 million 155 rounds per year. For reference, this is a single country and 6 companies. There are dozens of other companies making artillery ammo that can go to Ukraine. This ramp up will represent at least 2.5 combined ramp up from current levels. I hope it's cluster munitions. Let's go, dude! Can we produce this much? Of course. This is just... Yeah, it's possible to produce way more than that. It will be regular 155. Too bad. In the United States, 155 production is slated to hit at a rate of 90,000 per month. Again, I mentioned that it's during some days of the during some of the days of the war, Russians would shoot 80,000 or like 90,000 a day. So, but of course they can't keep up rate like that, so they kind of dropped it. But still, this is way over the plan to ramp up by 40,000 per month. For the United States, this represents the fastest artillery production increase since the Korean War. There are 3 main ways the US is planning to ramp up production. The first is by adding shifts to all the government-owned 155 facilities. Many of such facilities ran for 8 hours a day before the war and are now beginning to run 24 hours a day every day, often moving from 1 shift to 3 shifts. The second is by building new plants, upgrading existing facilities. Okay. I don't want to go like full schizo on it. I get it. They're going to make more. 3 million sounds good. Let's hope there's going to be more from other countries. Remember, every shell that we receive saves our soldiers from facing Russians face to face. Meaning it saves our soldiers' lives.
I therefore welcome that many allies will today commit to providing long-term security assistance to Ukraine. This will help deter any future aggression from Russia after this war ends. and it complements the support provided by NATO. The decisions made here in Vilnius mark the beginning of a new chapter in the relationship between NATO and Ukraine. Today, we meet as equals. I look forward to the day we meet as allies. And again, a very warm welcome to you. Please, Dodger.
Thank you so much. Шановний Єнсе, пане генеральний секретар, Єнсен, I will speak Ukrainian if it's possible, okay? Шановні присутні, шановні...
Dear everyone, dear journalists, I'm pleased to see such an attention to our summit and such an expectation of news, good news. Security is something that is obviously lacking right now, and our cooperation here in NATO of all partners is something that will definitely fill the security deficit. Ukraine is already and will always be a contributor to our common security. Security is our key objective for the NATO summit, for all the meetings, and for all of our communications. First, I would like to welcome the extension of the mandate of Mr. Secretary General for another year, and I thank you, Jens, for your support. I highly appreciate this. Thank you. Second, we have now discussed in detail the situation regarding the confrontation with Russia, what we're doing for the sake of peace and security, and what we can still do to give more protection to our people. This primarily concerns the security and defense assistance from our partners, and I'd like to say that we have some positive news on the new packages of defense support.
Bro, when did it in the war, when somebody says, you know what, we actually have a lot, enough of shells, thank you, we don't need any more. Like, come on, son.
Coming from our partners, and here in the summit, we already have a number of meetings, we have a number of arrangements, and I'm grateful to all those leaders who offered these packages of support to us. Thirdly, we discussed the expectations of NATO summit. Now, it's important that Ukraine will not need a membership action plan on its way to NATO, and I would like to extend words of gratitude to you, Jens, for these important steps. I know how many conversations or arrangements were to be made for such an event. We have taken a long path in interoperability with NATO, and our soldiers have a good expertise in cooperation with NATO, and they have proven they can well use the weapons, and they proved that the global democracy is far stronger than the terrorist attacks and terrorist threats. And even during the full-scale war against Russia, Ukraine continues to conduct reform, and in the process of our EU integration with...
I just want to say that Ukrainian flag looks immaculate, dude. It looks like it's fucking photoshopped, bro.
We have clearly outlined what do we need to do, and we're doing that. Therefore, we highly appreciate the recognition that Ukraine will not need a membership action plan on its way to NATO. I would like to have a success on this summit for everyone, for our soldiers, for our citizens, for our children, for everyone, and particularly the security guarantees that are so important for the people. The security guarantees for Ukraine on our way to NATO, not instead of NATO, but as security guarantees on our way to integration. And today, these guarantees could be confirmed.
No MRE today. I ate food a lot.
By the G7 countries, and if this will happen, and we'll be working on that, this will surely become a very important and specific success. We can state that the results of the summit are good, but...
Centaur having a sword? Yeah, I kind of see that, yeah. Looks like a guy on a horse, honestly, but maybe Centaur?
Should we receive an invitation, they would be the optimum. And I would like to extend words of gratitude to Lithuania, not just for this summit and for the energy that this summit is full of. We can see all those flags on the street. This is the human relations, not an artificial one. I'd like to extend words of gratitude for this. This is exactly the support for us and the energy
that guy breathing, dude.
For us. As we're not in NATO yet, but this is already the reality. This is our protection. This is the great support coming from the societies of around the world. And I thank you for this. I think this is the most important. This is the face in Ukraine as a future fully fledged member to the alliance, and a face to Ukraine as a guarantor of security, and a face in Ukraine as a victorious party in this war for the freedom, for the values of Ukraine. Once again, thank you. Glory to Ukraine.
Start with the Ukrainian national broadcaster. Lady over there.
Thank you.
I don't fucking hear what he says.
Моє питання. I have a question for both Secretary General and President Zelensky. First of all, пане президенте, як ви оцінюєте формулювання?
Dear Mr. President, how you evaluate the conditions with regarding to acceptance of Ukraine, and what are you going to
No, the translation is actually not real at all. It's all a lie, conspiracy theory by the globalists to get the kids' blood from your fucking frogs.
talk about today during the council? What's
Yeah, it's correct.
the difference from the commission? And
Дякую за запитання.
And what?
Thank you for this question.
I will start, okay. Перш за все,
First and foremost, the assessment, I've already made my assessment in a fairly public manner. What's most important is to have results. We can see some specific points making us closer to NATO. As I've already said, that some of the things, it's difficult to explain to partners because we are at war, and the partners are truly willing us to help and assist. They are helping us, but still, we are living under different conditions because we are in the conditions where survival matters, and the partners are willing to support us to leave. But before we can leave, we need to survive, and that pushes us to some fast processes, the processes that would need to result in the reform of the infrastructure of security in the world. And unfortunately, we're paying the ultimate price, the price of our lives. We can see how to fight any aggression. Now, we are inadequate people. We clearly understand that partners are helping us with weapons, and this is a moment of survival. This is something that we need. We understand that someone is afraid of talking about our membership now, because nobody is willing to have a world war, and which is logical and understandable. I want everyone to understand that we are civilized and adequate people. Ukraine is fighting, and it truly understands that Ukraine cannot be a member nation to NATO as long as the war continues on our territory. This is absolutely clear, but those signals are important. Those signals that would have been mentioned in bilateral meetings with Secretary General, with partners, and I had a number of meetings already, those statements about Ukraine becoming a member nation of NATO, and already we can hear some confident statements when the conditions will be met. My understanding is that when it will be secure on our land, on our territory.
I just want to say, like, I still think about that Biden clip. Like, how fucking cool and funny Zelensky is behind the scenes. I bet they fucking love the guy. I just bet they just love him, bro. I think that all these world leaders, they're just like, dude, he's just fucking great, dude. So let's, right? Like, it's like Volodymyr is my homie, Biden says. Oops, shouldn't be so familiar. Yeah, its video is 125, yeah. But interpreter is pretty snappy too, yeah.
The establishment of the NATO-Ukraine Council is one of the three elements in the package we agreed today to ensure that Ukraine comes even closer to NATO and to NATO membership. And the purpose of that decision is to strengthen the political ties, is to strengthen the political interaction between NATO and Ukraine. The Council is different from the previous Commission. First and
Zelensky
foremost,
for
because
NATO
this is a
leader, I think that Zelensky kind of burned out on all this shit. He will have to. I will not allow him to leave. He will have to go for the second term. He will have to. I don't think he will miss that. I don't think he will miss that. Fighting so hard for the country, I think that you would want to see it being rebuilt, at least the process being started, right? So I think he will have to go to the second term. Now, what's going to happen after that, man? It's scary to think.
that can make decisions, and we meet as equals. It's not 31.
But I think the country going through such a war, I think we will never have somebody. We will have high standards.
Allies meeting a partner. It's a council that actually make decisions where we meet as equals.
Hopefully, God damn, hopefully.
We can meet at the level of heads of state and government, as we will do today, at the ministerial level, defense foreign ministers, ambassadorial level. We can also meet at the military level.
I'm hopeful for younger people. They're pretty good, pretty patriotic.
With our chief of defense and other experts groups can be.
If there's gonna be a shitty president, some ex-military guy is just gonna fucking snipe him in the head in the limo or some shit.
Established. So this is a much stronger, much more important political entity than to just have a partnership. This is something we do together as equals. But again, this is one of the steps we are taking to move towards a membership.
Zelensky doesn't need pension. He's pretty rich because of the movies and TV shows. He's pretty popular, yeah.
Today we meet as equals. I look forward to the day we meet as allies. But this is an important step and an important contribution to that process.
Okay. Sky, first row here.
Oh yeah. Zelensky is the richest man on earth. He just gets trillions of billions of dollars from America because he's a puppet. That's what America pays to the puppets. Did you know?
Thank you. I'm Deborah Haynes from Sky News. President Zelensky, you came here
Or is he the puppeteer? Ooh.
wanting a time frame for membership. You'll be leaving with warm words as well as more weapons and new security guarantees.
But did you know that weapons are bad and war is bad? Why wouldn't you just agree? Can you imagine somebody saying shit like that? Bruh, I think they're gonna just fucking HIMARS the bitch right out of there, dude.
Have the Allies done enough to show their support? Or do you still think that their position on Ukraine...
Zelensky would just pull out his fucking signed Glock and just fucking headshot the motherfucker.
joining NATO is absurd, and most crucially, might this...
Goncharenko is... I don't know enough about him. Things he said were pretty based, but I think he might be like populist kinda. But we'll see. I don't know much about him though.
This lack of an invitation undermines
He's very active, but
the morale of your forces fighting right now on the front line. And Mr. Secretary General, the Kremlin has just said the Kremlin has just said it's a dangerous mistake for the West to give security guarantees to Ukraine. Are you worried that the Allies are taking a step closer?
it just looks like that to me. But I think that when I think this is the only time in history of a country where it's okay to be a populist. If the whole country is fighting for its existence and you're like, and this is what people are talking about, this is what people care about, I think you representing that opinion is, especially if you do it well, and I think he does it well, but...
Towards direct war with Russia.
Thank you for the question. As for the invitation, I truly understand that this is a technical signal. But if we're not only dealing with techniques and bureaucracy, but should we look at that as a serious factor to contribute the motivation to the Ukrainian society, then for me, as a president, that was an important moment. I kind of compare this fact with the candidacy for the membership in the European Union and with the dialogue with other countries. I give the following example. I told that EU candidacy was just this signal. The candidacy means no membership, but it brings a significant mobilization for Ukraine and a powerful signal for Russia that Ukraine is not a member of any type of alliance, but Ukraine is willing to become a member of the European Union and will be an independent state. As for the invitation to NATO, this is just the same. It's a signal. But today, I can see another important signal that I've already mentioned, and we can have some specifics about this. The specifics now, if today the G7 will...
Bro, who could have thought, honestly? Just, I don't know. I remember when I was a kid, I watched him fucking clowning on people, dude. I don't know, it was kind of... it's kind of crazy.
Agree to the first declaration on security guarantees. That would be a very specific fact, because the security guarantees says that these guarantees...
There are truly no limits on who you can be.
Will be valid on our way to NATO. This is very important. This is going to be a very specific...
Don't let your dreams be dreams,
as for the
boys.
rest of the points, the Secretary General has
Same
already
with Trump? Nah, I don't know. Rich, influential, kind of like that. He was just a regular dude from Kryvyi Rih, just making fucking jokes, you know?
Refer to alliance. Thank you.
There is a full-fledged war going on in Europe, and there is no risk-free option. No risk-free option for NATO allies either. But the biggest risk is if President Putin wins. Because then the message is that when he uses military force, when he violates international law, when he invades a neighbor, then he gets what he wants. And that's exactly why it is so important for NATO allies to support Ukraine. Because it will be a tragedy for Ukraine if President Putin wins, but it will be dangerous for us. It will make us more vulnerable. And that's also the reason why we have been so very clear on the following, that Ukraine, of course, has the right to choose its own path and what kind of security arrangements it wants to be part of. That's the first line in the paragraph.
Not Vlad, Volodymyr. Volodymyr is not Vlad. Vlad is
Vladislav. This is a fundamental right for
Vladislav.
every nation, and therefore we can never allow that Moscow
Volodymyr is
starts to
Volodya.
decide who can or who cannot be a member of NATO. Russia has been against every enlargement of NATO.
Different name.
It's for NATO allies.
That's why I didn't
and
think
for Ukraine
he like
to
kind of
decide
misspoke. I
when
don't
to
think
become
that's a
member.
misspeak,
Moscow
really.
doesn't have a veto on that. So we are moving Ukraine closer to membership. We make all the decisions today, which is the strongest, the most united message on the path towards membership NATO has ever issued to Ukraine. And of course, we do that knowing that Moscow will protest, as they did when Finland joined, or when Sweden is joining, or North Macedonia, or all new allies. So Ukraine has the right to choose some path. Allies will decide. It's not for Moscow to decide.
Just to add one sentence to the words of Secretary General, that what is very important about the Council, that it's not instrument of participation that is written there, that is the instrument of integration. And that's also give us such spirit that will be NATO.
ICTV Ukraine.
Where's the mic, son? Why are you slacking?
I have two questions. Volodymyr Runets, ICTV. I have two questions, one for the President of Ukraine and one for the Secretary General of NATO.
Mr. President, what do you expect of today's meeting of the G7? What guarantees do you think might be additionally granted to
Mr.
Ukraine?
Secretary General, this new Council NATO-Ukraine, how is it going to be different from the Commission NATO-Ukraine that could be blocked by, say, Hungary or any other members and had issues functioning?
That's a good question.
How this can be technically achieved? Thank you.
As for today's meeting, as well as the security guarantees, first I would like to tell you that these are not auxiliary aspects. We don't have real security guarantees from our partners. I mean, legally, we have actual security guarantees. There's financial, there's guarantees in the form of sanctions, there's assistance and defensive support. And that could be the first legal document that symbolizes the fact that we have a sort of a security umbrella, a first document, and later on, Ukraine will have bilateral documents with every security guarantor for Ukraine, and it will cover all those aspects that we already have. Or
do you think it was disrespectful for Biden to call him by your first name? No, that was super cute. What the fuck are you talking about?
Those aspects that we're...
Biden is fucking... Dude, Biden's fucking great, dude. I honestly think he's not a bad person. I think he's fun for a guy his age. He's pretty active, you know. It's just a shame that American politicians are like all fucking 90 years old, but he's like a cool grandpa, exactly right. And him saying that, and him kind of like correcting himself and owning that, I think it was a cute moment, and Zelensky smirked because it was cute.
We're lacking now, like air defense, like aircrafts, like...
I bet he maybe even said something like, you know, Volodymyr, if my son was half the man like you know.
Military aircrafts. Now, all those...
I would be a happy father or some shit.
...aspects will be considered on a bilateral level. Besides, this document, the security umbrella, will allow the other countries, in addition to the 7 countries, to join. So this would be an opportunity for other partners to join as well. And we've already started to have conversations with other partners that are already friends with us, but they're not part of the G7, but they will join. I think that's a very important next step.
Well, Council will be chaired by me, the Secretary General of NATO, and I can convene the Council. So that cannot be blocked by individual allies or members of the Council. It can also be convened by individual member states for crisis consultations. So if President Zelensky wants to convene a meeting of the NATO-Ukraine Council, he can do so. It cannot be blocked. Because we are meeting as equals, we have decided what we are going to address, including crisis consultations, can be called by any member of this Council. So this is something new. It's something different. It's a strong political tool for further political integration and also for decision making. So this is one of the elements in the decision we are taking today to move Ukraine closer to NATO and NATO membership, and you should all appreciate that.
CNBC.
Yeah, but when Zelensky picked his own chair, it was just like, oh, normal, because Zelensky is like a normal dude, and he would not even think twice about like picking his own shit, because he's a fucking capable guy, and he's not a fucking, you know, he's just a dude, he's just a guy, right? When Putin did that, that was so out of character, that was so pathetic, that was like so cringe. It's like, oh my god, you fucking moth.
Just behind you.
Hope you had a hernia because of that.
Steve Sedgwick from CNBC, sir. President Zelensky, can I just follow on the security guarantees issue? Because security guarantees have been in place for the best part of the last 30 years. They didn't prevent 2014 in Crimea. They didn't prevent 2022. What is it about security guarantees that will make a difference this time? Firstly, to yourself, sir, and your country, but also to the attitude of the Russians and to Vladimir Putin. He's looked at previous security guarantees and he's ignored them, and he's invaded anyway.
Thank you for the question. I'm not willing to reiterate, but I can tell you one thing. I don't believe Budapest Memorandum as security guarantee, because I don't understand any responsibility provided under the memorandum. There were no specifics, except for the fact that Ukraine had this document and was left alone with it. We don't see the consequences for violating this document. As for the new document, now, it should remain valid as long as Ukraine is not in NATO. And we understand that the best guarantees for Ukraine and for Ukrainians is to be in NATO. This is clear because there's already the examples. And I would like to underline once again, we don't see any member nations of NATO that are at war now, that are dying, that are suffering, that are defending their own country. That is why we understand that the best guarantees for Ukraine is to be in NATO. On our way to NATO, we would like to have the security guarantees and to have them permanently so that they would make our relationship to other countries even more powerful. We would like to have a document so that the assistance wouldn't be based only on our personal relationship,
ain't
but
gonna
to have it written in the document.
You know, people,
and today's framework declaration and security guarantees
fuck
will
around
open
with
up
them.
the possibilities for the strong bilateral documents.
We'll take one last question. USA Today, lady here, second row.
Zelensky, later this afternoon, you'll meet with President Biden. What are you hoping to accomplish in the meeting, and how do you plan to convince him that Ukraine is ready for NATO membership? When you meet with President Biden, also, beyond the cluster munitions that the U.S. has said it will provide Ukraine, what other military assistance are you seeking from the Biden administration that you have not yet?
ATACMS, F-16s, B-52 bombers, stealth jets, jetpacks, lasers.
Get received. And for Secretary General Stoltenberg, how quickly do you expect NATO nations to be able to provide the F-16s that President Zelensky has been requesting?
About F-16, it's also to me. You addressed to me question, or to you? F-16, no. Answer, please. Okay. So you can also answer on all these three questions about NATO, when it will be, and it.
Right, he's just good. He's just good at it.
Okay.
Thank you. First, I'm grateful to President Biden and to the Congress and to the people of the United States that are truly the leaders in support and assistance to Ukraine. We highly appreciate this. I'm not planning to find any arguments for making sure that President Biden would see us in the NATO. I believe that those arguments, they should be mutual, because it's all about the security in the East, the European continent, the eastern flank of NATO. And I believe that NATO needs us just as we need NATO. And I believe that this is absolutely fair. I am confident that after the war,
Cluster nukes
Ukraine
sound
will
really
be
good.
in NATO. We'll be doing everything possible to make it happen so that we would, with the United States, would have a same understanding and same vision. As for the cluster munitions, as you call it, look, there are moments when we have slight disagreements in small details with our U.S. partners, but I would like to extend words of gratitude to the President. I know it was a challenge in the United States, it was a challenge in the U.S. Congress, and there are people who are not sharing this support with regards to the cluster munitions, but I want us to take a look at this from a different perspective, from a perspective of fairness. Russia constantly using cluster munitions on our territory. And they are fighting only on our land. They're killing our people. They're using long-range missiles, cluster munitions on a regular basis. The assistance that we can receive from the United States with regards to the decision on the cluster munitions, we're talking about the use of those munitions only against military targets, only against the occupied territory of Ukraine. So this is something that is under control, and it's not going to be used anywhere else. There has to be a fairness, and it's not fair that the aggressor has occupied us, has been occupying parts of our territory for 9 years and killing our people. How can we defend? It's all about fairness.
Boom! Zelensky did a fucking Uno reverse card. 9 years, motherfuckers. Fucking true! Get fucked, Russian propaganda.
We are defending ourselves. We are defending ourselves by not using weapons against the territory of other states. As for the other support and assistance, we do need long-range weapons. This deficit remains, and I will raise this issue.
Yesterday, a group of NATO allies established a coalition to provide the training for F-16 fighter pilots from Ukraine. This is an initiative originally initiated by the Netherlands and Denmark. I welcome that several other allies have now joined in. Some preparations have
Netherlands is
taken
apparently
place,
going to be the first country to start
will
training.
Start as soon as possible. What allies have informed us is that training will actually start this summer. So this is something which is now happening. Last time I saw a list, I think it was 10 or perhaps even a bit more allies which are now part of this coalition, and they are eager to start as soon as possible. And of course this will then enable a later decision also to provide F-16s. So training starts as soon as possible, and based on that decisions will be made on providing fighter jets. Let me just add that of course guarantees, documents, councils, meetings are important, but the most urgent task now is to ensure enough weapons to Ukraine, to President Zelensky and his armed forces. And therefore, it has been extremely important that under this meeting, we have seen new announcements from NATO allies. France has decided to deliver long-range cruise missiles. Germany just announced yesterday a new big package of more air defense systems, more armored vehicles. The United States announced a big new package of ammunition, of weapons, and many other allies have also made new announcements. So the most urgent task is, of course, to ensure that Ukraine prevails. Because unless Ukraine prevails, then there is no membership issue to be discussed at all. So the message is that we stand by Ukraine for as long as it takes, and the urgent need is to provide the weapons they need.
Thank you very much. This concludes this press conference. The Secretary General and the President will now proceed to the inaugural meeting of the NATO-Ukraine Council.
The way they're doing it quick, because it's sped up. Nice stand-up, I liked it.
Let's listen in.
Say, God love you, no seats. Holy mackerel. It's good to be back in Vilnius, a nation and a region that knows better than anyone the transformational power of freedom. You know, to show the world is the strength of a people united.
Dude, what is that? Bro, I need to get that fucking, I need to get that thing. I need to get a audio from this thing. I saved a clip, and I wanted to, like, say, did he say freedom?
You can see on the bottom of the river, there's these little called a sand.
Yeah, I need to get this clip with the fucking hawk and the song. This is so funny, bro. Loud equals funny, guys. I hope you remember that.
Cannot be denied. And together with your brothers and sisters in Estonia and Latvia, you helped end the era of division through the power of connection. The Baltic Way, not the Berlin Wall, became the symbol for Europe's future. And later, when the Soviet tanks sought once more to deny your independence, the people of Vilnius said no, 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 no. And in January of 1991, tens of thousands of citizens, unarmed and unyielding, came for their own accord, standing as one to protect the TV tower, to shield the Supreme Council, and defend freedom. 14 heroes tragically lost their lives. Hundreds were wounded. But the whole world saw that decades of oppression had done nothing to dim the flame of liberty in this country.
Bro, you only think... you think Biden is like barely talking and always misspeaks? Like, those are clips. You understand that, right? Most of the time, he's fine.
The light of Lithuania. You kept it strong, you kept it bright, and you kept the light shining. Here in Vilnius and in Washington, D.C., where the yellow, green, and red of your flag flew every day, this past year, we've celebrated 100 years of unbroken diplomatic relationship between the United States and the Baltic states. America never recognized the Soviet occupation of the Baltic. Never, never, never. Now stand up.
Oh, better camera. Wow, thanks.
As your president can tell you, the bonds between Lithuanian and the American people have never faltered. And just
Bro, it's only 1:25. It's not even that quick. Like, he just speaks fast.
The bonds between Lithuanian and the American people have never faltered. And just 7 months after the bloody January crackdown, the first foreign visitor.
Come on, guys. This is just one moment. Don't worry about it.
They have their passports stamped here in Lithuania with visas to this new reborn state were a plane load of Lithuanian Americans from Chicago, Illinois. Oh. And their families are still proud of that. Los Angeles came after that. A lot came after. Look, many aboard that plane had fled Lithuania during the early years of Soviet oppression and marveled at their return to this independent state. One of them told reporters, quote, "This day is like a resurrection for us. This day, Father, is like a resurrection for us." That's what the quote was. For real. That's the feeling.
For real, for real?
And it was. A resurrection that quickly became a revelation. And a nation which stands today as a stronghold of liberty and opportunity. A proud member of the European Union and of NATO.
What if he would say that? What if he would say, like, for real, on God? Dude, that'd be so funny.
I had the great honor as United States Senator of championing Lithuania and other Baltic states to join NATO in 2004. Wasn't I brilliant doing that? But all kidding aside, think about how it's changed things. Think about what's happened. Now, over the last few days, as President of the United States...
When did he say, wasn't I brilliant for doing that? Was he... What did he say?
States, I had the honor of participating in an historic NATO summit hosted by Lithuania, where we welcomed NATO's newest ally, Finland, and reached agreement to bring Sweden into the alliance as soon as possible. And President Erdogan kept his word. We've witnessed your historic journey, and I'm proud to call Lithuania friend, partner, and ally. Ally.
That must be on some STEM shit. My grandpa is not this old, but he's like fucking barely functioning. Like, I mean, like intellectually. Most of his life he was like that, but still.
Soon NATO will be the 32nd freestanding, 32 freestanding members standing together to defend our people and our territory. Beyond all the rest, bound by democratic values to make us strong, and by our sacred oath that it is a sacred oath. Attack against one is attack against all. Because
I mean, it's not difficult. It's not easy to say. I feel like maybe the writers are like secret Trump fans.
Each member of NATO knows that the strength of our people and the power of our unity cannot be denied.
Best medicine money and influence can buy. I mean, really though, like, if you're rich, if you're like Jeff Bezos or Musk, I bet yes. But But like President of the United States, I mean, how much the state is actually interested? Like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe not the money. I don't know. I bet it's some POG life insurance or some shit. But
if I sound optimistic, it's because I am. Today, our alliance remains a bulwark of global security and stability, as it's been for more than 7 decades. NATO is stronger, more energized, and yes, more united than ever in its history. Indeed, more vital to our shared future. It didn't happen by accident. It wasn't inevitable. When Putin and his craven lust for land and power unleashed his brutal war on Ukraine, he was betting NATO would break apart. He was betting NATO would break. He thought our unity would shatter at the first testing. He thought democratic leaders would be weak, but he thought wrong. Faced with the threat,
he should have pulled up his glasses, dude. But he thought wrong. Do 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 do.
Faced with the threat, the peace and stability of the world, to democratic values we hold dear, to freedom itself, we did what we always do. The United States stepped up, NATO stepped up.
Bro, there's some like older clips of Biden like fucking spitting, dude. He'd be like spitting facts and based fucking takes pretty quickly and on point, like with a great vigor. But yeah.
Our partners in Europe and the input, and then the Indo-Pacific stepped up. All across the world, they stepped up. And we're ready. We were ready because we stood together.
Step up, boy.
In the months leading up to the war, as Putin amassed his forces on the Ukrainian border and laid the groundwork for his brutal invasion, I was in constant contact with my fellow leaders of the G7 and the European Union and NATO. Constantly. We warned the world what Putin was planning. Even some in Ukraine didn't believe what we had our intelligence community found. We made sure NATO was prepared to deter any aggression against any member state.
I mean, our head of intelligence kind of posted an article fucking months before the attack, so like, I mean, I don't know.
Pursued intense diplomacy with Russia, seeking to avert this terrible war. And when Russian bombs began to fall, we did not hesitate to act. We rallied the world to support the brave people of Ukraine as they defend their liberty and their sovereignty with incredible dignity. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Think about it. Think about what they're doing. After nearly a year and a half of Russia's forces committing terrible atrocities, including crimes against humanity, the people of Ukraine remain unbroken. Unbroken. Ukraine remains independent. It remains free.
Is this what they mean when they say double speak? This one an example?
This resolution does not endorse the President's decision.
Example of what?
It does not endorse the agreement reached in Dayton. It does support our men and women in uniform.
By Denmark?
As we should.
But Europe cannot...
Oh, speaking, look, highlight.
As we should.
Committee. But Europe cannot stay united without the United States. There is no moral center in Europe. When in the last 2 centuries had the French or the British or the Germans or the Belgians or the Italians moved in a way to unify that continent, to stand up to this kind of genocide? When have they done it? And the only reason anything is happening now is because the United States of America finally
He's gonna say, fucking get him, dude.
is understanding her role.
Allowing us to make this announcement.
No one will deny that it's...
I mean, you know. He has that, what do they call? What did they say? He has that guy in him, or what? It was Biden, motherfucker.
The United States has built a coalition of more than 50 nations to make sure Ukraine defends itself both now.
Oh, he has that dog in him. Yeah.
To do it in the future as well.
Yeah.
Since this war began, I've stood with President Zelensky, as I just spent about an hour with him, both in Washington, in Kyiv, in Hiroshima, and now in Vilnius, to declare to the world what I say again: we will not waver.
Gravitas? Bro, I ain't from 17th century, okay? He doesn't have that gravitas in him. He has that dog in him, dude. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you, Jim.
We will not waver. I mean that. Our commitment to Ukraine will not weaken. We will stand for liberty and freedom today, tomorrow, and for as long as it takes.
I mean, it's good that they say that. It is good, because when you say that and it doesn't happen, people are going to be like, but motherfucker, you said that though, you know? So it's still good.
We all want this war to end on just terms. Terms that uphold the basic principles of the United Nations Charter that we all signed up to. Sovereignty, territorial integrity. These are two pillars of peaceful relations among nations. One country cannot be allowed to seize its neighbor's territory by force. Russia could end this war tomorrow by withdrawing its forces from Ukraine, wrecking its international borders, and ceasing its attacks on it, its inhumane attacks on Russia. By Russia on Ukraine against its children, women and children, its military. Unfortunately, Russia has shown thus far no interest in the diplomatic outcome. Putin still wrongly believes that he can outlast Ukraine. He can't believe it's their land, their country, and their future. And even after all this time, Putin still doubts our staying power. He's still making a bad bet that the conviction and the unity among the United States and our allies and partners will break down. He still doesn't understand that our commitment, our values, our freedom is something he can never, never, ever, ever walk away from. It's who we are. I mean, it's who we are. It's who we are. Throughout this horrific war, the people of Lithuania, together with our Baltic brethren.
You know, this is kind of reminds me what was mentioned on the podcast that I referred to in the beginning of the stream that I watched. Not the podcast, but the debate, right? Where that Zionist, anti-Semitic, anti-Zionist, anti-whatever the fuck, Nazi dipshit Fuentes was saying that, it can only be explained, all of that stuff can only be explained if Jewish people control the government from within and stuff like that. And it's like, bro, politics, like, if you have the biggest military in the world, if you have the capacities and capabilities to uphold peace in the world, isn't that the biggest W that like a president or a congressman or anyone can have in their fucking portfolio? Because at the end of the day, what they want to is they want to be reelected. They want to go to the second term. They want to continue their political career. And how can anyone like attack you or blame you when you led a successful, right? A successful campaign where you militarily helped an ally to save lives and save their country. It's just like, you know, it's a politician's wet dream. Okay, so there's plenty of motivation for political leaders to get involved when they have the capacities, right?
Among the most fierce champions of Ukraine's right.
And also, it's like, I also don't want to say, like, at the end of the day, have some faith in people too, right? Like, seriously thinking that, you know, nobody would want to, like, honestly help a whole nation of people if they're really in the shit. Like, I just don't believe that. You know, everyone is just, like, after their own interests, like.
To a future of its own choosing, one that is free. Because you live so long.
Yeah, it's the same as religion, right? It's the God, and I know it, and you don't, right?
With freedom denied.
Thompson's so naive. What did I say that is naive? Okay, what did I say that is naive? Please enlighten me before I ban your fucking ass. You fucking degen cuck fuck loser piece of shit. I'll fucking slap your fucking ass so hard it's gonna turn to a fucking pussy. I'm gonna turn your fucking. I'm gonna switch your fucking sex to. You're gonna be trans, motherfucker, dude. What did I say that is naive?
Many of you who are older know better than anyone how precious the right to determine your own future is. Precious to people everywhere.
Have some faith in people? Yeah, have some faith. It's not naive to have some faith, bro. What the fuck? I mean, the whole world is not in the constant wars. Different countries are not in the constant wars with each other.
What the fuck did you just fucking say?
Most
about
of the
me, you little
world is
shitter?
peaceful.
Everywhere.
So what the fuck are you talking about?
Not just in Ukraine.
We're more good than bad. That is naive? How is that naive, dumbest motherfucker? Open the fucking map. How many wars are currently on the scale of our war? It's like one thing. What is it? How naive? What do you mean naive? What did I say that is the most naive thing? Are you serious? Are you serious right now? That people would prefer to do good than bad? You can't be fucking... Me saying that is like naive? You must be on some fucking Reddit crack shit, my guy. Why are you always screaming and cursing? Are you mad? Of course I'm mad, bro. Thank God there's a screen between us, motherfucker. You'd say that to my face, I'd fucking slap my cock on your lips. I have very thin patience, by the way. Maybe that's the reason people don't want to argue with me. If it's not in their interest, most won't do it out of goodness. Well, you as a leader of a country obviously cannot sacrifice your own country in pursuit of just goodness. But at the end of the day, it is kind of in your geopolitical interest. America is fucking, is not interested in having shit going around in Europe. Yeah, they're not interested and they're willing to help. But it's like, they don't have to. I mean, they could just say, oh, Europe should help or whatever. But there's like, there's also this thing where if you do good shit, you just feel good about it. It's part of it. It's not the whole thing. It's definitely part of it. Why not? Why can't that be? Look how Putin is trying to sell the conflict to Russians, right? We're doing such a good thing. We're protecting Russians there. We're fighting Nazis. They're always trying to justify it with like good intentions. So what I'm saying is that for America and Europe and other countries that help Ukraine, it is definitely some part of it is good intentions. Because you never know if the country, gonna scratch your back as well. Why not? If somebody is in trouble and you can help, you might help them because at the end of the day, you never know when you're in trouble, so they might help you. Like it's just, if it's not too big of an issue to you as well. So.
Belarus, Moldova, Georgia, and all the places around.
For the West, yes. Rest of the world, no. If you're some dipshit fucking third world country like Brazil, of course you're not going to be interested in getting involved in military conflicts all around the fucking world. But if you have the fucking capacity, and if you have the means, why not just take the W? Especially when you have a democratic system where citizens will support your decision and you have chances. Like you're just win. But who says that it's always because of personal interest, right? Don't you think that Biden feels good when Zelensky thanks him for what he's doing and how many people he's saving? That's definitely a part of it. How is that naive? Shut the fuck up.
Around the world where people continue to fight to make their voices heard. So my message to all...
You say that the Baltics gives everything to Ukraine because they know they will be fucked next if push comes to shove. Sure, that's valid, but you could also say that they super sympathize with what's happening right now in our country because they lived through that. And it just fucking sucks. And they also hate Russians. Like, fuck, man. Like, there's many arguments that you can make, and I'm sure some people have different feelings about it.
All of you united is keep it up, keep it going, keep reminding the world of hope that Lithuania embodies, and that's what you embody, hope in this country.
So why isn't Austria or Hungary helping? Austria is helping, just not as much as they should. And Hungary is not good people, yes, absolutely true. Austria can go fuck themselves as well. But slightly, a little bit, only a little bit.
Oh, I really mean it. I'm not joking. I mean this sincerely. We must never forget how much this matters, and never, never give up on a better tomorrow. The defense of freedom is not the work of a day or a year. It's the calling of our lifetime, of all time. We are steeled for the struggle ahead. Our unity will not falter, I promise you. Folks, as I look around...
Wasn't Austria and Hungary one country at some point?
The world today, at a moment of war and peril, a moment of competition and uncertainty, I also see a moment of unprecedented opportunity. Unprecedented opportunity. Opportunity to make real strides toward a world of greater peace and greater prosperity, liberty and dignity, equal justice under the law, human rights and fundamental freedoms, which are the blessing and birthright of all of humanity. That is the world the United States is working toward. And it's one we'll only reach if we do it together. And I mean together. We need to take the same spirit of unity, common purpose, determination that we've demonstrated in our response to Russian aggression in Ukraine and bring more partners along as we continue working to build a world we want to live in and a world we want for our children. My friends, at the most fundamental level, we face a choice. It's not hyperbole, we face a choice. A choice between a world defined by coercion and exploitation, where might makes right, or...
Hey, listen, this is a long speech, but so far pretty good, you know? He only misspoke like twice. That's a W in my book for Biden, you know? I just don't... I'm not a big fan of these, like, speeches, you know? That's why I like Zelensky so much. He just talks with people, you know? It's just kind of like important shit, you know? What is this now? But, you know, I get it. This is how Americans do it. It's okay. I'm not okay. I'm okay with it. Ukrainian troops fighting with Bradley.
Арта сьогодні, блядь, бежить.
This artillery is fucking great today. That's not true though, right? Because if you force Ukraine to settle, it means that Russia wins, and it means that another war is gonna happen after that as well. They're not fucking stupid. They know what's going on. The thing is, in Western countries, in democratic countries, is that you have the opposition. And as soon as you do some stupid shit like that, opposition is gonna fucking eat you alive. And they're gonna take your voter base, okay? They're gonna come out and say, Republicans already tried to do it, saying that there's not enough support for Ukraine, that there needs to be more. American political, democratic opposition, real opposition, is not pro-Russian. The Trump fucking idiots are not real opposition. They're fucking morons. Populist fucking cringe fucking cocksuckers that just sheep of another herd. That's it. I'm talking Europe. What opposition in Europe is fucking like pro-Russia? In which countries? What about other fucking parties in Germany? There's plenty. There's plenty of parties in Germany and Netherlands. You can find some that is supporting Russia, but I could bet my fucking nuts that is not as popular as the other ones that do support Ukraine. AFD is small and meaningless. There you go. I just assumed that, and I was correct. So yeah, it's like you can have an opposition and still support Ukraine. Just harder, you know? Ugh. Dude, it's so annoying when it's like at 3 a.m. and you just want to fucking sleep and this fucking shit won't shut the fuck up, dude. It's so fucking annoying. And then in the fucking morning... True. That's how I feel. It's exactly how I feel. Oh my god. Yeah, it's error alert. I probably saw it. Shouldn't go to the basement? I don't give a fuck. I got used to it. I have biggest nuts. They stop missiles, okay? Leopard tank shooting at Russian positions.
Красавчик наш. Вот она, блядь. Техника богов. Ай-яй-яй.
44 of Republican. So most Republicans are in favor. But that's still, yeah, a sizable percentage.
Давай, маленький, еще парочку дай.
Just shoot a little bit more.
Ай, хорошо.
Good one. Well done.
Может быть. Могу отзумиться.
Maybe he's shooting on very far distances, staying away.
Правее от нас. Одно от того, что мы смотрим. Блядь, да что там происходит, ёбаные волки?
Welcome to all of you. Welcome to this first meeting of the NATO-Ukraine Council. This is truly a historic moment. Allies and Ukraine sitting side by side as equals to address our common. It's great to have you here. There, Vladimir, we stand with you in your courageous struggle for freedom and sovereignty.
What is more dangerous to civilians when littered across Ukraine? Unexploded cluster bombs, unexploded Russian troops. True. Fucking true and based. Let's watch a meme, guys. I think there was a meme video yesterday. We missed it. I can't find it anymore. Wait, what? What's happening? I saw it, but it's not here. Am I not subscribed? Bro, I still can't get off that fucking TikTok with the... it keeps appearing in my fucking thing. With the VTuber concert. Bro. It was truly horrible. The way he was fucking... it was so bad.
There's one rule in the jungle. When the lion's hungry, he eats.
Is this that Jared guy from Subway?
Crack a rib.
Bro, he's like giving you a fucking side eye, dude. Look at that guy in the back. Yeah, man.
I'm gonna bury you in my favorite home.
Testicular torsion!
Oh, this is the thing. They're making fun of it again. The fucking VTuber shit.
Right? You guys having fun? All aboard the toxic gossip train. You're chugging down the tracks of misinformation. The toxic gossip train. You got a one-way.
I didn't get it. When your piss spits into two directions while peeing and misses the toilet.
I walk past this dude and he's got the whole PS4 set up outside with Wi-Fi.
Nah, unfortunately, Wi-Fi.
Bro, this guy just wants to be homeless, my guy. You can't convince me otherwise.
Coming soon, though.
Wi-Fi coming soon.
I've been playing Warzone right now.
Yes, sir. We outside.
Isn't there a fact? I'm completely making this up, but I'm sure it's correct. Isn't there a fact that in colder countries there's less homeless people?
I think it's time that we all start to just consider the other possibility.
They die out of cold? Yeah, sure, of course. That's what happens.
Droge?
Exactly.
Ne, ja se ne drogiram, folklor je moja droga.
Wait, you're pregnant? What? Wait.
Bros, chill. Time to stop, man.
Pregnant?
Exactly. What the fuck? Joblo, this is you, by the way. How motherfuckers feel leaving after leaving the group chat for attention? Real. It is you, dude.
The Rubik's Cube has been solved faster and faster every year since it came out, and it won't be long before they can solve it in negative time, enabling people to travel backwards in time using a Rubik's Cube. The maker of the Rubik's Cube, Mattel, intends to use that to travel back in time to...
Sanest Fuentes viewer. Women need to start using men for sex, sleep with them and block them, give them a taste of their own medicine. Guys after getting a taste of their own medicine.
wise man once said, the highest form of wealth is the ability to wake up and say, I can do whatever I want today. I'm going to tell you how you can manifest that reality. As soon as you wake
Can't you like actually like pop a vein in your brain
up every single morning, I want you to relax.
from doing this?
Don't grab your phone, don't move. Close your eyes and visualize your life. Visualize your day.
It says 5'3" motherfuckers taking a bath. It works.
What is love? Oh, baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me.
Look! I messed up, Quincy. I'm sorry.
That's genius, dude. This guy is goofy as shit. Oh, it's so smart.
Oh my god.
Ever see anyone do a burp laugh?
Good boy. Did you hear about the neighbor? She heard her dog's pregnant. She's gonna have 9 puppies. You know anything about that, buddy? Boy, you okay? You okay?
Squishy, it's nap time. Go to bed now.
Is that a little mice or
Squishy,
something?
you know how you act when you don't get your nap. You better take your nap right now.
What is that? What was that? Dude eating an apple remind you of this? I bet it's a clip of me eating a fucking watermelon, right? Oh. Almost.
It's not my fault if you get copyrighted.
Come on. Tasty apple. Okay. What's this now? Are these the French things we got?
Позиции десантников 79-й бригады, это район Красногоровки. Совсем недавно украинские военные освободили позиции, которые были заняты российскими подразделениями еще с 2014 года. И сейчас на том направлении сильно активизировались боевые действия.
Russians losing territory they controlled from 2014 is just feels so good.
Противника, перекриті щілини, вогневі точки, от видно обложені мішками.
згорівша російська техніка, до речі.
Там 4 танки, да?
Да, 4 танки. Гарно попало декілька снарядів. Противник зазнав втрат в живій силі. Декілька осіб було поранених.
Противник застосовує проти наших військ дрони камікадзе дуже активно. Палить наші позиції. Крім того, застосовує танки камікадзе, бронетехніку, напхану вибухівкою, яку пускає на наші позиції.
Damn, bro.
Hello everyone.
What? Have we seen this?
This is your daily
A little meme?
dose of internet. The suspect was running away from the police
Yeah,
when
we
a
saw
random
this. This is too big. This video is too long, dude. What is this now? Holy shit. Big video from the third separate assault. Okay, not for today either. Oh, this is perfect.
Marine. Volunteer, prisoner of war, fugitive. This is all about one man named Hennady, a Marine who fought against the Russians in the besieged city of Mariupol and later hid for 9 months in the already captured city. This is just one of the many heroic tales of the battle for freedom.
At 4 a.m., the first hits landed. I opened the windows, overlooking Vodane. I saw them raining down phosphorus munitions on the military.
See you, man.
My girlfriend remarked, "Oh, fireworks." "Not really," I replied. "The war has begun."
Hennady was born and raised in Mariupol, a city now symbolizing the horrors of war. He served in the army and extended his contract several times, ultimately joining the elite Marine unit of the armed forces after completing rigorous airborne troops training. In 2014, when Russia launched its hybrid war in Ukraine, Hennady volunteered to fight. Throughout these years, he had been to numerous hot zones, repeatedly putting his life on the line. However, the main challenge lay ahead for both Hennady and his hometown in 2022. 1 week after the full-scale invasion on March 1st,
Just checking if
Mariupol
my
was
cheek is
completely encircled. However, its defenders continued to fight. At that, the decision to fight for the city consolidated the individuals from very diverse backgrounds.
We had a 70-year-old man. The territorial defense unit turned him away, but he came to us and said, "I have a pump-action shotgun, and I want to fight." He was a wiry one. He explained, "I am old, my family is far away, I am alone here, and I have nothing to lose. Don't need anyone else in charge. It should either be me or the government."
Hennady emerged as an unofficial leader of a small volunteer unit. In their first battle, they destroyed an enemy tank and several vehicles with personnel. However, eventually the volunteers became isolated from the rest of the Ukrainian defense forces in one of the city's districts, losing all means of communication.
At some point, I realized that they will probably kill me. I was extremely afraid of being captured.
For months, the Russians struggled to overcome the resistance of the defenders trapped in Mariupol, so they opted to simply annihilate the city. Every day, its streets were bombarded with artillery shells and high-capacity bombs.
Later, a Russian soldier said, "Our orders were to destroy Mariupol.
I don't know.
It didn't matter whether you were there or not. Even if all the defenders had gathered in one place, we would have still destroyed the rest of the city."
At some point, news reached them that the defenders of Mariupol had sheltered in the renowned Azovstal plant, Under heavy enemy fire and intense fighting, the volunteer unit was losing its members. When only one comrade remained beside Hennady, they decided to reach Azovstal by car and reunite with their fellow fighters. However, their car struck a mine on the way, resulting in the death of Hennady's comrade. Shell-shocked, Hennady managed to leave the vehicle, changed into civilian clothing he had found, and made his way to his home nearby. Hennady spent some time in the basement of his house with his neighbors.
I met my neighbors, and they told me, there are Russians over there, and there. I took a closer look and noticed them in nearly every entrance, done in our bulletproof vest, but with white armbands. Some were carrying machine guns. Well, I thought, here I am.
However, one day a stranger ran in, pleading for help. A shell had struck the house where he, his pregnant wife, and their children were staying, and they had to be taken out immediately. Hennady volunteered to help them. He led the children and the man's wife out of the burning house. However, that man was the one to inform the Russians, suspecting Hennady of being a Ukrainian soldier.
What a fucking piece of shit cunt.
As I came out of the basement, an assault rifle was pointed at my face. The soldier, dressed in a green uniform and helmet, asked the man, "Is this the one?" The very man I had just helped to rescue his children affirmed yes. The soldier had me at gunpoint and ordered me to strip. I stripped, and he saw my army tattoos. I didn't really have time to process as he started kicking me. They tied me to a radiator with duct tape and took me up to the top floor from time to time for a talk. One day a guy came in and said, "You've been sentenced to death through execution." They said, "Let's go." There was a big church nearby under construction.
Did they kill him?
They forced...
I'm sorry. I just, every time, it kind of feels like bad writing, you know? When it's like, you know, he's alive. So. But yeah, never mind. I'm just being fucking stupid.
On our knees, and the sound of gunfire echoed. Bang, 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 bang.
Bro, it doesn't matter. They could like look at my shit and be like, "Oh, you were in the army." I'm like, "Yeah, in the fucking Imperial Senate or some shit." The fuck are you asking?
As it turned out, it was a mock execution staged for fear and intimidation. After that, it was repeated on several other occasions. Meanwhile, the Russians kept saying they had won already. They had captured Kyiv and Lviv. However, at some point, they announced their future assault on Azovstal. Hennady was baffled. If they couldn't even capture a single plant after all this time, how could they have taken Kyiv and Lviv? When the Russians left to attack the plant once again,
Azovstal was the last defense position in the whole Ukraine, Copium. It was the strongest Azov fighters that were guarding the impenetrable nuclear bunker, Copium. The whole Ukraine is already captured. Give up, Copium.
Hennady decided to run away. He managed to break free, climbed out of a window, and made his getaway. The Marine attempted to reach his friends at Azovstal under cover.
It was carnage. You walk amidst corpses with arms and legs torn off. Nobody bothered to collect them. Entire neighborhoods had been abandoned. Places where I used to drive through, once busy intersections, were reduced to nothingness. Everything was burned down. You walk and it's dead silent, and piles of lifeless bodies.
He couldn't break through to his fellow fighters. On May 20th, the defense of Azovstal came to an end when the defenders received orders to save their lives. Hennady was left alone in the city under enemy control. For months, he hid in basements, thinking only of one thing: how to survive.
В итоге я вот уже, так знаешь, Новый год прошел, я суперски встретил Новый год. Отбивался от крыс, у меня было на шее.
As New Year's Eve arrived, I celebrated by fighting off rats. It was a full-blown invasion. They sought to eat my supplies, and I didn't want that at all. It was a
Nobody expected Ukraine to be in NATO during the war. It seems like there was some very powerful security guarantees and confirmations from all the NATO members that Ukraine will be definitely in NATO after the war. So, which is what we wanted and what everyone kind of thinks is going to happen. So,
serious battle. And one day, thanks to my friends and other people, representatives of the Navy reached out to me and said, "You're a good Marine. We have a proposition for you." I was like, "What?" And they explained the situation, disclosed the details of a highly classified evacuation plan, and said, "There is a 1% chance of success. We will help you, but there's just 1%. It's all or nothing."
The details of his evacuation remain undisclosed. However, on February 13, 2023, the Marine was already at the Ukrainian-controlled territory. Currently, Hennady is undergoing rehabilitation in the Ukrainian capital. He is already involved in providing instruction on small arms handling.
there's no after war. It's either Ukraine loses or Russia won't exist anymore. That's not how it's going to happen.
And despite almost a year alone in his
First of all, if you're following anything that's been going on for a fucking year and a half, you know that Ukraine is not gonna lose this. The discussion that people are having right now is on what terms Russia is going to lose. Some people are saying that the most plausible scenario is that Ukraine is going to succeed and will start negotiations with Putin when the troops are going to be near Crimea, basically saying that either we can strike some deal where you obviously give up all the territory, because that's been always the point of this whole thing, and we can make a deal, and you can say like that you won something in the eyes of your people. We don't give a fuck. Or, we're just gonna, kill all of your fucking soldiers, and you won't have anyone to protect your country at that point. So, infighting will happen. And whatever is going to be happening in Russia inside the... it's basically negotiations about the positions he wants to get fucked in, because he will get fucked for what he did one way or another. But, yeah. And then after the Russian military is no longer present and they do not control any territories in Ukraine, we begin our accession process to NATO. We are provided some security guarantees that during this process we will be protected by the alliance, just like what happened with Sweden and Finland. And and then there's the process of fucking bureaucracy.
Occupied hometown. He still believes in victory.
We will win. Do we really have a choice? This is our home.
So Putin knows after negotiations Ukraine joined NATO. Do you think he will ever allow it to happen? Nobody will ask him. Nobody gives a fuck what he will allow or not allow.
And there are nothing but invaders. We must win.
He lost. Losers do not dictate anything. It doesn't matter what he wants or not. It's still irrelevant. The fallback position for Europe is to deny NATO membership. You can't deny NATO membership to Ukraine because it's the only security guarantee that Ukraine is not going to get invaded again. He has the power to choose negotiations or not. Well, just like I said, he will be provided with two options. He can exit at the point where it would be obvious that he has no other option, or we will just destroy all the remnants of Russian military and will basically declare victory. He doesn't have to declare any sort of peace or whatever. We can just kill all of the Russian troops and control all the territory of Ukraine, and that's it. We don't need his participation at the end of the day. He can make it easier for himself. He can try and you know, sell some like, I don't know, they achieved all the goals of the special military operation. Ukraine is no longer under the influence of Azov fighters or some shit, and that's why they struck some deals with the government and blah blah. They will just fucking say some bullshit. They will either exit or they're not gonna do any of that. And wouldn't it be crazy if Russian propaganda will like still pretend that there's war even though there's like they don't control any of the Ukrainian territory? That would be fun. Bro, you're not putting any options. You're not putting any options. Not realistic, no otherwise. I don't think you ever have. I don't think you ever said an option. What are the options you're talking about? War just moves over to Belgorod? Yeah, and they're gonna film Belgorod region, just gonna say it's Kiev. Right? We're already there. Russia's not gonna use nukes, it's so fucking... Ukraine's gonna smash everything till he has no choice? Yeah, but he already kinda doesn't have a choice, right? Like... The funny thing is, they kind of knew this in 24 hours after they started the war. Because after 24 hours of the invasion, Russia offered negotiations to Ukraine. They knew it's fucked up. They knew it's over. And it's just like, it's the longest fucking cope. They just think that the West is gonna give up first. And it seems like it's completely the opposite. Zelensky is just super cool. He united the leaders and secured guarantees for Ukraine. And that's it. Putin still copes. He lives in like completely different reality, right? But yeah, people say that Putin doesn't use internet or nothing like that. He believes it's like Western controlled and all of that shit is fake. He only has specific people he trusts and stuff like that. So I don't know. So yeah, it doesn't seem like. Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's. Yeah. Anyway, guys, we're gonna end the stream. So thanks for being here. Hope you enjoyed. And tune in tomorrow. Okay, I stream every day. So make sure to follow. Okay. Join Discord, and also new MRE. I don't know. Probably not. We'll see. Anyway, maybe tune in, join Discord, support the stream. Links are somewhere in the chat. Okay, see ya.